My name is Tim Brown, and I was diagnosed with progressive supranuclear palsy, or PSP for short. Um, the final diagnosis was delivered in 2014. I had been seeing a neurologist for a year before that. That was at my wife's insistence because she was complaining that I was having some memory issues. From there, I went through hours of cognitive testing and I did some walking. They wanted to look at my gait. By the end of the day, I had received diagnosis of early onset dementia, and that floored me. And I literally started to cry. I, like most people at the time, the only thing I knew about dementia was Alzheimer's. And I knew how devastating that could be. And I couldn't see past that. Now I know that there are 8 different types of dementias, uh, Alzheimer's being the worst. The symptoms, as far as dementia goes, and you have to understand these go hand in hand with PSP. When I look back, I can see hallmarks of the disease a year or 2 years prior to actually being diagnosed, but didn't really put much thought into it. The geriatrist at the hospital delivered this diagnosis of dementia. He wanted me to go to another hospital that had a better imaging operation for an MRI, which I did. Reviewing the findings, he said he had some good news for me. He said that there was no tumor involved because they want to rule out the possibility of any tumor causing, the dementia. But he had seen some abnormalities that he could not speak to. He made a referral for me to a neurologist in the London Health Scientists Centre in London, Ontario. Again, he put me through some cognitive testing, similar to the stuff I had done back a few months ago. He then did a physical examination on me. He watched my gait. He observed me walking. He had me stand. He had me, put my hands out in front of me, and and I didn't know it, but there was a little tremor there because it's just something you live with. It didn't take much, put much thought into it. He then held a pen in front of my face, and then he asked me to follow it with my eyes from side to side, and I couldn't. And the little bit that I could, actually, it was all double vision. So he went to do a few more tests, and he had me stand straight with my feet together. And he says, I'm going to do a little tug on your shoulders here. And he said, don't worry, I'm right behind you. And he gave me a little tug pull on my shoulders, and I went backwards. And yeah, he caught me. So that was really surprising. I didn't know what the hell was going on. And he had me do something with my eyes closed too, standing, and it became very unstable on my feet. And he said, "How do when you're showering, do you not feel these, dizzy or anything like that?" I said, "No." I said, "When I shower, I keep my eyes closed, but I'm leaning up against the wall. So I'm not falling backwards." So I'd actually developed a sort of a compensatory technique. And as we would find out further on, that I had developed a lot of techniques to compensate for things or symptoms that were presenting, but I didn't pay much attention to. He had some concerns, but he was going to refer me to the three more doctors. One was a neuro-ophthalmologist, and the other one was an MD, movement disorder specialist. And the third was a neuropsychiatrist. So I'm wondering, what is all this about? And he asked me, do you drive? I said, yeah. And he said, what? Not anymore. I'm sorry to tell you that. And by the time I left the office, he had already sent the paperwork into the Ministry of Transportation, having them suspend my license. Now, that bothered me a lot. I mean, I was still working at that point, but I was carpooling. So, I could get a ride back there, back and forth every day. But I thought about it a little bit later on. I thought, if he's got that kind of a concern, then I should be concerned too, because I wouldn't want to be responsible for, being involved with an accident with somebody and hurting them, knowing that I had some limitations, but not knowing the whole scope of them at the time.